Yeah.
Hi.
Every
Now I'm
time.
gonna laugh. Hey.
Hey.
I was gonna be very serious and not laugh, but you
But
know.
that's not
Hey
authentic
girl,
to you.
hey.
Exactly. So this is who we are talking to today, Amanda.
Hey
Hi,
guys.
Amanda.
Hi. Hi.
Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah. So my name's Amanda. I live in Southern California. I am a parent to a child. I'm a legal guardian to her. So I've had her for 9 years. She's my biological niece. And I have four bonus kids from my fiance.
Beautiful. And a dog and a cat.
I have a dog. I have a lot. I have a Frenchie. She's the cutest, Coco. I have a fluffy, furry kitty, Butters. I have a bearded dragon. It's not mine. I just held it for the first time in a year and a half last week. Its name is ASAP Rocky.
Nice.
We have a tree
Nope,
frog.
that's it. Oh, after the frog, you're fine. You don't have to mention anything else because I'm going to burn your house down. She got a
Oh,
snake.
that's so cool. What
I
kind?
mean,
Get out of here. Get out of here. It will
it's
it will
a
kill.
ball
It
python.
kills.
Ball python.
Ball
I mean, I have
python?
not held it. It's Grace's, but
Ball pythons are awesome.
yeah, she
Love
just got
that.
it like a week ago. It's
Until it tries to kill your bird or your child.
no, it's
That's
Just
all
a
cool
big.
though.
thought. Just a thought. Not
You're
happening.
either a snake person or you're not. I am
I'm
not.
not.
I'm not.
I'm not.
But
Yeah,
I
I
guess I'm a
couldn't.
little bit more than I thought I was because I never thought I'd have one in my home. But love
She
your
sent me
kids,
a
right?
yeah. She sent me a picture and I was like, okay, well, I am never going back to your house until it's completely burned down.
There's a lock. There's a lock on the
She
tank.
keeps telling me that like it matters. No,
Well,
it
I
doesn't
mean,
matter.
that's
it's
what
not
made
gonna
me.
be like a Harry Potter instance. Like,
You never know. You never know. They're
That's pretty
evil.
cool though.
Okay. You you like weird animals.
yeah, we don't have
Um,
any.
did you get a new beta fish, Amanda?
Oh my gosh. So I got home from the hospital and our betta fish died, and it's our littlest. He just turned 8. And
Oh,
his name is Leo, and it's a red betta fish. And it was like 100%
was.
dead. It was dead, 100%. And so the other night I got home yesterday and I look at it's on the counter and I'm like, wait, the fish didn't die? And Drew goes, no. And I'm like, oh, I caught it like right then and there. I was like, oh, great. I was worried about that little guy because he wasn't swimming much. And all the kids were staring at me. But it's a fish, but that's like fish 101 when you have a kid. Like it dies and you go by the identical fish. So Leo
Yeah.
too.
That's
Or
good to know.
or you learn a valuable lesson.
It's only been like 2 weeks.
Don't trust Amanda.
No, I haven't done anything.
She's like, I
Dude,
didn't feel it.
no, beta fish suck. I had one for like maybe 2 months and I
Everything.
spent money on this fish. I got him bigger cage thing, whatever they're called. Tanks.
Aquarium.
Yeah, I gave him all the things, live plants, and like he was so miserable, and then he just died. And I was like, you know what? Fuck this fish. Like, I'm not a
I
fish
think
person.
aren't betas like inherently like sick because
I
they're
Yeah.
think
not
they're just
because they're
depressed because
bred
They're
and
so
whatever.
depressed.
like they
Well,
literally want to
yeah,
kill each
people
other.
put them in little spaces, like,
Yeah,
but
Yeah.
totally.
I mean, ooh,
Okay.
speaking of, there's a ladybug on my tail.
Another ladybug?
That's like good luck, I think.
Well, they're
No,
not
not in
ladybugs, they're
Missouri.
those
Not in
lady
Missouri.
beetles.
Yeah,
They're disgusting.
yeah,
Oh.
yeah. Okay. Well, that's another topic in Missouri.
How disgusting Missouri is.
Yeah. We'll talk about that later. Okay. So, Amanda, since you are on the question block, let's start with how and when did you meet your fiance?
I met him in late 2020, but it was super cute. We met at the park actually. So our kids just all skateboard, and Tessa just started hanging out with these kids at the park, and we just started talking to each other, and I would walk the park a lot. I'd like recently moved, and I would just go there with her, and I would just walk the park for like literally hours. and Tessa would just skateboard, and I'd just be on the phone with Julia, Sam, yeah, my mom, anybody. And he like asked me on a hike, but he asked me like in front of the kids. And I was like, well, he asked me in front of one kid, which wasn't either of our kids. It was our friend Lila, Tessa's like best friend at the time. And I was like so caught off guard. And I just wasn't really interested in like going out with someone at the time. And I was like, oh, like with all the kids, like I thought for a second that he meant like, let's all go on a hike. And he's like, no, just the two of us. And I was like, oh, no, 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 so
I'd be
no.
like, that's how I get murdered.
I know, right? And then it was like he asked me to go on a Tuesday. And I was like, do you have a job? Like, do you work? It's like, how can you go on a hike on a Tuesday? And then like probably like, I don't know, within a couple, like a week, I would just walk more. And then he was finally like, hey, can I walk with you? And I was like, sure. Nobody probably answered my phone calls. And I'm like, yay, someone to talk to. And we just talked for like the whole time that we were walking. And then that was like our thing after that. Like I would go to the park and he would just walk with me. And we would just talk and talk and talk. And then our kids had play dates. So then I went like over to his house for Tessa to have play dates. And Tessa was like 9 at the time. And it was like towards the end of like that first year of COVID. And you don't really drop your kid off at someone's house, especially Tessa was very like attached to me. Um, and so I would just stay and hang. And within like a couple months, we just started dating. It was like very organic. And the kids were like rooting for it. We didn't tell them, but they would be like, you should date Grace's dad and you should date Tessa's mom. And then they found
Yeah.
out and they were like, you didn't tell us.
So how long after you guys started dating did you get engaged?
Um, in between like 2 and 3 years, probably like 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That
obviously
had
you
to make
said
it
yes.
easier that the kids were like rooting for it beforehand. Like,
Yeah. We did a lot of like conditioning with the kids. Like we spent a lot of time together before we got engaged and we had conversations with each child. And Drew had conversations with each kid. And just made sure that that was something that they all wanted. And all of them said yes. And like there was a lot of emotion, obviously, because, you know, their mom, like he is divorced and
yeah.
the kids love their mom. And so, like that is like a next step and a new chapter and like moving on. And that's like can be like hard to um accept.
Navigate.
But yeah, she's also she's remarried. So, it all kind of just worked well. And the kids loved each other. They love each other. We when he has them, like throughout the time when he would have them, Tessa, we would be with them a lot. Like we spent a lot of time together, just hanging out. And it was like, the kids come back today. And we didn't even live together yet, but she knew like the kids come back. So like the next couple of days we get to like hang out and be together. And, so they were really like, really happy about it.
Good.
That's
Yeah.
nice. Yeah.
When is the wedding?
So the wedding was actually supposed to be last Saturday, which
Yeah.
is crazy because my dress did not come in time.
Mhm.
So my dress was delayed like big time, like 2 months. And so, I didn't have the best experience with the bridal shop. They just like wouldn't give me a straight answer. I don't think they knew. And so I was like really risking like paying all of the vendors, like my photographer and food and stuff, because all of that was like, it needs to be paid now. And so I had to make a really tough call and we postponed it and I did get my dress. So I was
Thank God.
really annoyed.
When
But
did you get your dress? Did you get it on Saturday?
I got it October 17th and our wedding was supposed to be October 26th.
Yeah,
So like
not close
less than
enough.
10 days.
That is way too
No.
close. Yeah, no.
That's
Yeah.
way too close for
And
comfort. Yeah.
they didn't even answer my phone calls. They never called me back. It was like, that's a whole nother story. But the one thing I will say is that I truly believe that it was all for a good reason because as you guys know, Tessa just got her appendix out 2 days ago. And so I would have been on my honeymoon. And that would have been really, really tough for me to not be here. She probably wouldn't have gone to the hospital because knowing her, she probably wouldn't say that she was in pain if I
No,
wasn't. So,
absolutely.
it kind of all worked out, but it's a little bittersweet because I just want to marry him.
Yeah.
Um, but it's okay. It's not happening. So we just have a little bit more time now. And I didn't even do a lot of traditional things. We didn't have bachelorette parties just because of timing, and my other sister Julia was getting married. So now we're like, okay, we can literally do like all the things, which is a little bit more special.
Yeah.
Love it.
Mhm.
So when's the wedding?
So TBD, but 2025. We have a date. We just have to make sure it works with where
Everything
we're
else?
having. Yeah. And
Perfect.
then we will announce.
Love it. And
Mhm.
Are you
how
doing the
was
same venue or?
Yeah. It's actually in Joshua Tree at my uncle's property. So he has like, I don't know, 8 acres in Joshua Tree, and it's like beautiful. So
Oh,
that
nice.
was the thing that was like, that was what made it easy. Like I didn't lose a deposit or anything for the
Right. That's
venue.
what I was wondering. Like a lot of times you book a venue and they're like, no, you're stuck.
No,
Like,
he was actually like, whatever you need, like just, let me know.
it's a
So
lot like it was a lot like your wedding. It's going to be a lot like your wedding.
right. Yeah. We had it at my husband's
In-law.
grandparents'
Yeah,
property. So we
nice.
could do any,
anything.
but
Mhm. Okay. How was being put into the stepmom role been for you, and how do the kids treat you?
I mean, they love me. I do a
Perfect.
lot of things for them, right? I treat
Yeah,
them like they're my kids. So I'd say that they see that I benefit them. Like our lives have changed
totally.
since living together, and they see that. And so, two parents of any kind, if they're kind and loving in your home, is better than one, right? So I don't try to be their mom, but I try to be a bonus, right? So
Absolutely. That's the
I
only thing
think
you can
that's
try.
the biggest
Yep.
thing. Yeah. And Jordan was 3 when I met him. So he's 8 now. Like I met him when he was 3, turning 4, like literally like a week before he turned 4. So, um, he'll ask me like, were you there when I was born? I'm like, no. But he doesn't even remember it without me. And then
Yeah.
Logan just such a sweetheart. And, the girls and I connected like early on. They're teenagers, so who loves their parents all the time, right?
No one.
That age, but um, yeah, I get along with all of them, and they're great.
that
Perfect.
is super nice because I feel like a lot of times that is the
Oh
hardest
yeah.
thing to navigate through is the kids accepting
Yeah,
or
I mean,
even
I have a
the
stepmom.
ex accepting.
Yeah, I have a stepmom, but it's like untraditional. Like she came into the role of like my mom, so I love her so much, and I
She
don't
is your
expect.
mom.
Yeah, and yeah, and so I don't like expect that's really high expectations, but I would say that
And rare.
and rare, yeah,
Yeah.
very untraditional, but they definitely love me, and I love them, and I think that's what's important. And
Yeah,
what this is the thing, I treat them the way that I would want someone to treat Tessa.
exactly.
Yeah.
So when I think of it that way, it makes it really easy to be like kind and loving and supportive.
Well, yeah, it's really easy for kids, especially because A, you don't really have to punish because they're already kind of grown.
Yeah.
And it's, I mean, that's your fiance's job to do. And honestly, if you just have an open dialogue, it should be easy to talk to teenagers. Like
Mhm.
they're dealing with their own crap. They don't need crap from parents too.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
really hard.
Our
It's
kids.
really hard at that time.
They really,
How
yeah.
yeah. How is the relationship with the ex? She just had a baby.
Mhm. Um, it could be better. Um, but I would say, through this whole experience, what I would say, well, what I'll start off with is like, I don't have that. Drew doesn't deal with another side of
Right,
me,
right.
and Tessa, because I am the sole legal guardian and sole custody. So Tessa is with us 100% full time. And so I make all decisions. And so I would say that that's probably like the weirdest thing is like, we do have that on his side. And I would just say through this whole experience, what I've learned is like, don't always believe what you hear because, if I was not around for the last 3 years experiencing things myself, like firsthand, and I just heard things, I might think very differently. So,
Right.
There's always two sides to a story, and there's always one that will, speak a little louder. So I would say that's like the hardest thing is just, Drew is like truly the best person I've ever met. He's like the best dad and he's amazing. And um, that's all I'm going to say about that.
Well, I mean, he is a great guy, truly. He's made you grown, and he's helped you grow, and he also has brought out the best sides in you.
Yeah, he's
Truly.
so great. Sometimes I'm like, how are you real?
What do you mean?
He's like so special. And
And not in the special way, the normal way.
no, he's like actually, yeah. And it's really hard to beat that. I don't think I've ever met anybody. I never have met anybody that's equivalent to him. And so that's kind of hard to lose,
Totally.
Yeah.
That's mine talking.
No, I've got movement.
Oh, mine's talking.
Blurry.
All the babies. I don't have those anymore.
Yeah.
I just have Ring cameras making sure nobody's sneaking in
There's
Or sneaking out.
movement.
or sneaking out. No, we've never had either, thank God.
Okay. Do you
Well, Freddie might be joining us
Yeah.
shortly, just so you know.
Lovely. I love him. Do you plan on having children together, or at least have you guys talked about it?
I mean, of course we've talked about it. Yeah. We talked about everything heavy like at the beginning of our relationship, and it made it kind of funny and fun and not like
How was it
too
following her?
serious. I know that
Literally is following her through
Yeah,
that.
how does that happen? How does it follow her?
yeah. So updated. Hers updated.
Oh, it did update right before we got on.
Yeah.
That's
So,
creepy. Oh my God. It
Oh,
followed you.
Yeah, I was trying to turn that setting off. I can't figure it out right now. So
Hi,
here's my
buddy.
sleepy boy.
Hi,
He just slept for like
handsome.
2.5 hours. So
Hi, baby.
are you mad? Are you
Yeah.
mad? It's so bright
Where's
out here.
Where's your choopy? Get your choopy, bud.
He's not like he uses it, but he's not like
Take the boob
super.
out of his mouth and put the choopy in.
That is so weird. I don't know why it does that.
It's so creepy. Okay,
I
so you
wouldn't let
talked about.
that-
I
Sorry.
know.
It's okay. Yeah, we talked about it, obviously. I would say that I'm not, and we're open to it. We're open
Yeah.
to it, obviously, but like I don't love the idea of having, a baby.
No, you don't have to apologize to us.
I feel the
Neither
same
way.
exact way.
Neither way. Most of us don't
we
want
have-
babies right now.
We have 5 kids who are not going to slow down because there's a baby. So you have to consider that, and we
Yeah.
know that. Like Tessa's 13 and like she went out trick-or-treating in a wheelchair last night. But she went out trick-or-treating last night and we were out. I mean, the party started at 4 and I didn't go to bed till almost 1. And we got released from the hospital yesterday at like
Oh.
noon. So it was a long day. And I'm just like, if I had like a baby or a toddler or something, it changes it like 100%. It changes me. I'm already tired, but like let's put that in the mix. And then also like we already have children. So you don't like swap them out. So adding one more kid to love obviously is great. I would love to have children with Drew, but we talked about this because of this, and um he's like, it's 60/40, your choice. And I just I don't know. I'd love to be like a foster mom later in life and just like have babies for like emergency, just like placement, like not like keep them, but just like have them and like take care of them until they
I
find a.
feel like that's like the same thing with being like a foster dog person, though. You end up just falling in love and wanting to keep
Okay,
them
that's what
all.
Drew says. He's like, I
Yeah,
would never give any of them back. And I'm like, but you have to. Like, we can't
you
have
don't have
It is
to.
for the greater good. And I think that you would know that. So it's
Yeah, I
easier
think I
to,
could like touch their lives and like love on them. And I'm not saying I wouldn't be sad. I'm a very emotional person. So
Right,
I think I would be sad, but I would just be like, okay, now they're going to like a loving home that like maybe doesn't have a baby or
right.
yeah.
can't have a baby or, needs a baby for whatever reason and wants to fulfill that.
Yeah.
But
I
we'll talk
also
about
think
that
it
when
would go with like, yeah, you might want to keep or adopt one if they fit into your family really well. I feel like it would be a lot
but then
different,
you
but
do
not
that.
every one of them is going to do that,
Right.
I
you know?
would have a million dogs. That's Brayden literally told
Well,
me that when we were talking
I
about if we
wouldn't.
wanted children. I was like, maybe we could foster, and Brayden's like, you wouldn't be able to give them back. That's the same reason why we don't foster dogs. And I was like, no, you're
Yeah.
right. I wouldn't give them back, and I
Yeah.
wouldn't. I'd be like, no, you're mine. Come to me. I'm a problem. We all know this, but right now my
You are
toddler's
the
a problem.
problem.
I am the problem. Yeah, but I know that, so that's why I went through hell for her. Hell, I was pregnant for 9 months. It wasn't
So
even that bad.
are all of the kids in your house when they're not with mom?
Yeah.
Mhm.
They're
Yeah.
all
So
that age. I was
we have
like, my mind went over my head on the
The
ages of.
oldest, yeah, the oldest of his is 17, and then
Oh,
Grace is 14.
15. So it's like this.
15.
Okay, so he has two girls and then two boys. They're all with the same mom, but this is Tessa. She's in the middle.
she's the middle child. That's funny.
Yeah. Penny is 17, Grace is 15, Tessa's 13, Logan is 12, and Jordan is 8.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
They're all at
Yeah,
different schools.
Oh,
Every
wow.
that's the crazy part.
Yeah.
All different schools.
Do they ride buses or do you
We don't have buses here.
Oh, okay.
No, Tessa
They do have
they have like
buses.
short buses. No, we don't have any school buses anymore. We
Oh.
only have like special ed buses. There's no bus anymore. Yeah. So,
Wow. And you're
um,
in California? Is
mhm,
that okay?
yeah.
Oh
It's
my
probably because
gosh.
they don't have a big enough bus to take everybody. There's too many
So,
people.
That is crazy.
we have
Look
the
at her.
kids Wednesday.
Now Rebecca's thinking, she's like, do I really want to go back to California? There's no bus.
Um, well, so we have the kids Wednesday night through like Sunday, and then every other weekend they go back Saturday so that their mom can have like a weekend night. So we get two like Saturdays free a month. Um, which is so sad because we just love having them. But so we take them to school Thursday, Friday. And so Drew does most of the drop offs. Tessa just got like one of those e-bikes, the Super 73s. It's so cool. So she takes that to and from school sometimes. That was
Okay.
kind of the goal, but I don't want to give her like total independence and freedom with it. So like
She's 13.
yeah,
Yeah.
I would say she rides it like 2 to 3 times a week, but it's funny because it's never Thursday or Friday. So it's like that was kind of the intention to like lessen the load of like driving um
Yeah.
all of the kids, but it's okay. It's just kind of inconvenient because Logan and Tessa start at the exact same minute and get out at the exact same minute, and they're at different schools. So Drew does a lot of
That is
driving,
hard.
but he's a champ.
I mean, when you
And
guys decide to put them all in different schools, that's kind of like
yeah, I mean, it's
what you
based off of
bargained
like their
for.
house,
Yeah.
their mom's house, and then also what their elementary schools like funneled to. So,
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna pause for 1 minute and come back on. You hate her so much.
We all rotated.
Yeah, I know. Okay. Um, where am I? Oh yeah. So you've had what, two serious relationships your whole life?
Yeah.
Two? Two? And the other one was a high school sweetheart that you were with for quite some time into your 30s, almost
29.
30, almost 30. Um, and you guys were together for what, 12 years?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
over 12 years.
Yeah. And that didn't work out, which is actually amazing. I'm just pointing it out. Our Ariana was on here and she is also a high school sweetheart legend. And you have Brittany, that's also a high school sweetheart legend as well. Um,
Had to wait forever for that.
I mean,
I am so glad I'm not a high school sweetheart. My high school boyfriend was a loser.
yeah.
Sorry.
It could go either
Um,
way.
so how long were you with him and how was he accepting towards Tessa?
Well, we were together for about over 12 years. I'll just say that being a parent is really hard. And obviously, my situation is very untraditional. I didn't like conceive a child and then have 9, 8, 7, whatever, however many months you have to prepare, right? Like,
Right.
I literally became her foster parent within 24 hours. It was like overnight. And, you know, I never asked him. I didn't have to ask him because I knew I wasn't going to listen to whatever he said, and I just chose to do it on my own.
Mm.
But at the time, I think we were together for like 7 years. So, it wasn't like a new relationship or anything. And I just decided to have her. And
Well,
I
there
don't
was
know.
also, it was either her or somebody was going to have to take her outside of the family,
Yes,
and
yes.
that was
And
a no-go.
yeah, and I was only 24 years old and she was 4. And I just decided like, yes, I will do it. And I think that like there were like times where it was accepted, but then there was times where it wasn't accepted, and like those just overweighed like the accepting parts because you don't get to be like a parent part-time. And
Yeah.
I think that I learned that we parented very differently, and it doesn't matter like if we agree on every single thing. It was just that I don't think like his heart was really into it. And like I just wasn't happy. And I just love Tessa so much. And she's my baby. And yeah, ultimately, like, I just knew
Mhm.
I knew I wasn't happy. I knew he wasn't happy. And it was hard, obviously, because it was so long in our families. Like his family was my family, and like my family was his family. So it was obviously hard. It felt like a divorce. Um, but I mean, ultimately, I knew that I made the right choice. Um, I'm so happy now. I live a different life. Like that's one thing I will say is that I didn't know how happy I could actually be. Um, I'm truly like for all the times I thought I was happy before, I didn't even know what happy was.
Right.
And I love my life now. I'm just, the fact that it could have not happened had I not made that hard decision is like crazy.
Mhm.
Um, but like I said, you can't have your heart like half in it. You like, at least with me, like I'm like, no, I need like all in because I am all in with Tessa.
Well,
Um,
especially parenting, like that would
yeah,
be very frustrating to be all in on a child you love, and then the person that's supposed to be your
Love
partner
you.
isn't
Yeah.
really
Fair.
helping you with that part.
Hmm.
Like that would be awful and
yeah,
really,
there were times where Tessa had like school events, like the Halloween festival, right? It's like a Friday night. And I'd be like, oh yeah, we have like the Halloween festival next Friday. And he'd be like, oh, cool. Like I'm gonna make plans with like insert name, like a friend. And I'm like, no, you're supposed to come. Like,
so we looked at it as fully your responsibility, and he was
yeah,
kind of like the babysitter.
Yeah.
on the
And like, there
side.
were times where he would come, but it's like you don't get to like pick and choose. Like I'm
Yeah.
like, no, like I'm stepping in as her mom, as her parent, and I need someone that's gonna step in as like her dad, and like just be full in. And like, I would say that like obviously with Drew, like we have 5 kids and Drew and I do more things together than I previously did. Like Drew and I make it a priority to be side by side because otherwise, like, at the end of they always say like at the end of the day, like who are you with? And the answer is Drew. And our kids don't feel neglected or like we're not there. They feel like, wow, they're both there for me.
Mhm.
And I don't know how we do it, but we make each one of them feel like at times like they're an only child. And I would say that's like the most important part. And I really have a partner now who will do things even
The
when you don't want to. I mean, Drew stayed at the hospital the first night with me, all night. And the second night the kids came back. So he wasn't able to, but you know, that's what I need. I need someone who is gonna be there with me through all of like the fun times and like the hard times.
Yeah,
the reason
for
why
sure.
your kids feel that they're only children is because you guys actually put effort into the children.
Oh
And
yeah.
that's truly the most important part about being a parent is to cater to how they need to be feeling instead of how you feel that they should feel. It's
Right.
not about your feelings, it's about theirs. And the
Yeah.
fact that you do that speaks volumes. They truly are happy children. Every child has their own issues, regardless. But at the end of the day, it's truly how you make them feel at the end of the day.
Yeah.
They're not alone. Perfect. I love that. Um, how is how has been blending the families for each child, basically?
Well, each child has a very different personality, but I would say like obviously the 4 kids, like they have siblings. I would say, obviously like for Tessa, being an only child for 12 years and then moving in to a home where now she has like siblings, it's been a learning curve. But she's, I mean, she really wanted it. So it's great.
Mhm.
Um, it's just something that, or any of you, I know, Rebecca, you're not an only child. Brittany, are you an only child?
No, I've got a sister.
Okay. So I'm not an only child. So like but my ex was an only child. And so I see a lot of like only child syndrome. Do you guys
Mhm.
know that
Yeah.
that's like, yeah. So Tessa for sure had that. But she's like really grown through it in certain ways, and just like a silly little thing, but it's a child. So like, you have like ice cream in the freezer. And as an only child, if your parent doesn't eat it, it's going to be there, right? But when you have other siblings in the house, you go to the freezer and you open it and it's gone. And you're like, what? Like, who ate it? And it's like, oh, the other
You
child.
did. You ate it.
Yeah,
You
Tessa.
always eat it.
I mean, I love ice cream, but
You
Tessa,
too. Yeah, you're both my
those,
problems.
those are not things that she'd ever experienced before. And then also because there are 4 kids, like, let's just say like we're playing a video game and it's like taking turns. Tessa had never had to take turns before because she's the only child. And so now it's like, not only is it like, I'll take a turn, you'll take one, and then I'll get one again. It's like, okay, well, I'll take one, then Logan will take one, then Jordan will take one, then Grace will take one, then Penny will take one, and then it's back to Tessa. And if it's like 5 minutes, it's like 20 minutes before it comes back to you. So I would say it's that part has been a lot, but Tessa has always wanted siblings. And so now that she has siblings in her home, she's like, this is what I wanted. Um, she does get a
Most
break.
only children want siblings, though.
Yeah. And I would say that she has a really good setup because like they're here, let's say Wednesday to Sunday, but then they go back to their mom's Sunday afternoon until Wednesday, right? So like that's kind of like her downtime, like because when they're here, it's obviously a little bit more
Chaos.
rowdy and fun. And then when they leave, it's like slower. And she gets to be that only child again, every week. So
I mean,
half
all
the
it
She
week.
takes
she
is,
looks
yeah.
forward to that a little.
Everyone does. Everyone
Yeah.
enjoys downtime, no matter how they experience it.
Yeah.
No, for
Yeah.
sure.
Buddy wants to be an only child.
Yes,
He does not want to share the ice cream with anybody.
No, she has like a candy drawer in her room. It's
Okay,
like a
she never shared ice cream either. Both of you girls are the bane of my existence, okay? You guys were always hiding crap from everybody. Amanda,
It's the only way
Becca,
when you have
I
that many
know.
siblings.
To fend for yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
fend for yourself. You guys would both look at me. I need you. Will you get me full of chocolate chip ice cream? No,
I'm gonna make
Amanda, you
chocolate
can
chip.
watch the damn
Mint
kitchen by
chocolate chips
yourself.
good.
She loved it. She ate it every night. It was actually a
Like every
problem.
morning too. I was so chunky.
Girl, your butt was on point though. Just saying, if you don't, it is. And you, ugh, I can't even start with you. Sharing a bathroom with her was the hardest in my life.
That was
Every
like my safe space. I'd go in there and lock myself in.
we'd be like, we
everyone
have
would
to
leave me
go to the
alone.
bathroom, and she'd be like,
Oh my gosh.
5 more minutes. We're like, what the fuck are you doing? Get out! Get out!
That's Tessa. That's actually Tessa too.
Yeah,
Because she's
no.
always had her own bathroom.
That's
Rebecca.
probably a real hard
She's-
adjustment.
You know, Rebecca's in the bathroom just going.
Checking out my butt.
So great.
Ah, good boy. Good boy.
That's nice. Thank you, kid. Thank you, buddy.
Good boy. Okay. What are you most looking forward to after you're married?
Just being with him forever.
Being a Mrs.
Yeah. Um, yeah. I mean, just like everybody thinks we're married. When I say like my fiance, people like friends, like the friends' parents are like, oh my gosh, congratulations. I just feel because we're so like in sync, like literally. And Drew wears a wedding ring. I got it for him. I want to say like the same year we got married.
Married?
I'm sorry, the same year we got engaged.
Tammy's
She's
like,
actually
did I miss an elopement?
secretly married.
I've been
Doesn't wanna
telling her.
announce it.
I've been telling both of you to just go get married and then have a ceremony later, or however you want to do it. Just because I know what it's like. I wanted to get married as soon as possible. I wanted to be with my best friend forever. Like there was no holding me back. I don't care about anything else except for him, and that's what made us have an awesome party.
Yeah,
I
would
really
say
just needed the party too, but
Well, right.
my party was the money. My
Yeah.
ceremony was like 5 minutes. I took longer to walk down than any, but
We were so stoned.
yeah.
I'm surprised we made it. To be
Me
honest.
too. I told Tyler that he needs to lay off the moonshine and the whiskey before the ceremony because he just needs to walk down there and look as sober as possible. And then here I am. My
We were
dad's
not
eyes
sober.
are watery and glassy. And I was like, well, we had photos before this and a blunt was involved. I don't know what to tell you.
I believe that Drew makes you a better person.
oh yeah. I would
I
say
actually concur. Yes, he
yeah,
does.
Drew is like, yeah, he's so great. We just have like such strong communication skills with one another. And then like we truly like I've never had someone who like, I feel will just like be there for me like no matter what. And we've like grown together, we learned things together. Yeah, he's so like wise. He's older than me. I don't know if you guys know that, but there is an age difference of like 7 years. So I'm 33 and he's 41. So he's experienced more of life. But yeah, he's just such a good person. And I mean, I would say I'm a good person, but like and we learned from each other. So I would say that I definitely am made a better person through him. But I would say he probably say the same thing about, I mean, I know he would say the same thing about me. Um, yeah, and I just get excited to like talk to him about like problems and like things that are hard. And like if something hard happens, like even though it's hard, like I just know like, okay, like we will get through this together. I think that's like the best thing is just like knowing like, okay, I used to always be like, okay, I'll call my sister or I'll call my mom. And now it's like, okay, I'll call Drew. Just truly because I know he'll like calm me down or he'll like walk me through it or he'll be like, it's okay, babe, like we got this. And like I truly know like we got this, you know, whatever this is.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's comforting in a relationship when you know that you can bring up hard issues without the fear or anxiety of like them overreacting or getting angry or whatever. So
Yeah.
that's a cool dynamic to have.
It's very nice and it's very beneficial. And it truly shows when you look at any other past relationship how incompatible people actually are until you have something that actually fits and works. And you're like, oh my God, this is a partnership.
Yeah.
And I mean, we all know that my partner is fucking awesome.
Mhm.
I don't tell him because he'll get a big head and he won't be able to fit through the front door. So that's a bigger problem.
No, yeah, I know. And
What are you doing over here?
Drew is
Sorry.
just really appreciative of me. He appreciates me so much. And it's like constant encouragement, you know.
Yeah.
And he like you guys, he's amazing. And like he like everything is like nothing is just me. Like nothing I'm just solely responsible for. You know, like he cleans, he cooks, he like gives me a full body massage every Tuesday night since we started dating. Like literally,
What?
like
Where do you get one of those?
Yeah. Mine just says pop your top, and then all of a sudden it's intercourse, and I'm like, what? How does that happen?
You're
What
like, I
happened to my
wanted a
fucking
real
massage? Yeah, what happened? And he's like, well, just it's fine. And then he goes and plays video games, so I actually never get my massage.
No.
I know, Freddie. I know.
Luis bought me a massage chair because I was asking for massages too much, and he's like, "Here, as many
I was
massages
gonna
as you
say,
want."
that's what you need, Tammy.
It's actually great. It was one of the
I
best
don't want
gifts.
a fucking chair, okay?
No.
I don't want a chair. Good God. I love that. And I actually completely agree. Drew is literally the best. The first time I ever talked to Drew, just so everyone has a backup, I was actually mad at her because she wasn't answering my phone calls. She wasn't texting me back.
I was in love.
I get that.
See,
And I was like,
Sister was put on the back burner when she fell in love, okay?
well, so he answered the phone and I'm like, you fucking suck. And I didn't know that it was him. I thought it was her. And so we talked and I was like,
Okay, I will say. Okay, so the question, has Drew made you a better person? Yes, because I
Yes.
am like the ignore a person's phone calls, don't text back, and do the Irish.
Oh my God, is that like a middle
just
child
leave.
thing or something? Yes, it is. You guys have fucking issues.
Drew,
I don't know. I'm
literally-
firstborn and I'm like that. So
okay, Drew literally like we have a friend, Michelle. And I have known Michelle since I was 6 years old. Okay. And like I've known her grandma and grandpa since then. Like just like, you know, I've seen them, I've been to their house, like I've just like always been around them. But like I never say hi to them. Like I don't even like know them. And Drew literally has a better relationship with them already since he just like he's like, yeah, Papa. Like I'm like, what? Like, he is so like
He remembers and he cares. He truly
He puts
cares. It's not even, it's not just like a facade. He asks, he remembers things. How was that dentist appointment you went to? You know, he actually like
he truly puts effort in relationships. He like builds a community. Like people love Drew. Like you can't not like Drew. Like serious. If you don't like Drew,
there's
you're
something wrong with
jealous.
you. Probably, yeah.
Yeah,
That's how I feel about if someone doesn't like my husband or Tyler or
I was
you
like,
know,
Tyler's that
Aria,
same way.
Mac,
Like, I
yeah,
always have the resting bitch face going on.
always, yeah.
And Tyler's always like, oh, let's talk to everyone in this group that we don't even know any of them. And I'm like, mm,
Yeah,
you're gonna make me
yeah,
socialize? I don't
yeah.
know.
That's
I
exactly
know.
a Mac and a Braden and a Tyler and a Drew. They're all in the same category. Rebecca's also in that category, but Rebecca has to be told that you can't make friends with strangers, that you cannot give them their phone number.
I
Cults are
would never be
bad.
caught dead making friends with strangers. So
Oh, she would. She would. She's a problem.
Yeah, I'd be caught in the back of that white van for sure.
Totally.
yeah, you'd be
She'd
the
be
one at
like,
girls'
she'd
night
be
that
like,
I'd
oh
be
my
like,
God.
this is why I can't go out with only girls.
So this would be Becca in the back of the white van. Sir, I think my restraints are a little loose. I think I can get out. Do you want to tighten them? She
Also, do
would.
you have any candy, sir?
Yeah, yeah. Where's those kittens that you promised? Do you have kitties?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's
funny.
me.
Yeah, totally. People pleaser. Wrong people pleaser. Okay, let's go back to you.
Yeah,
Um,
sorry, we get distracted around here sometimes.
Okay.
We
I'm
really
a
do.
talker.
I always find
yeah,
us
she
like,
loves that. That's how she goes. Was there any part of blending this family where you and Drew thought that you guys needed help?
I think we just talk to the kids. So like, think that like our help is like understanding their needs. Like, hey, what do you like about this and what do you not like about this, I think that we also communicate really well. And we also don't really talk about things. We do not talk about like things in front of the kids. Like we'll table it and we'll be like, hey, like we need 5 minutes and we'll go and talk about something. And we don't let things go like unsettled. So like if there's something, we'll tell the kids like, hey, like we need a couple minutes and we'll go and we'll talk. And we try to just like make it work for them. So, I would say that like if we didn't have such strong communication and the want to be together, then it would be a lot harder. The few times that we haven't really agreed on things, we'll like it's actually quite comical. Like we'll like be like frustrated and we'll be like, okay, we'll talk about this later. And so um, you know, but then we get upset because we're like, we just wasted 2 hours not hanging out because we've been annoyed with each other. And then we're like sad that we like wasted the time. And I know it's so silly. We're like, I know, but
For
Heidi,
you.
a couple more minutes, my child. We like joke about it, but so I would say like no, we've never like I don't think needed help. I think we just need to understand like the needs and the wants of like what we're being faced with,
Well,
And
good, because
and usually it's the kids. It's the kids, but we made a promise to each other really early on that we will not fight because of the kids.
no,
And like I would say like if he doesn't agree with something that I'm doing with Tessa, he'll tell me later, he won't like interject in the middle. But like he'll be like, hey, like I think she should have stayed home, or, she's not feeling well. I don't think she should have gone out, and I'll do the same thing for him. And we just don't do it in front of the kids, and then
no.
also we've gotten really good about like, if the kids ask for something, like even though we're each like the like decision maker for like the separate kids, like we make decisions together. We'll say like, hey, like, yeah, let me think about that. And then we come back to each other and we're like, hey, like, does that work for our family?
Right,
Can so sleep over, or can they go out, or who's going to take them? Or, you know, um, Logan wants to go on a bike ride, like, and none of the other kids do. Like, are you cool if I'm gone for 2 hours? It's not
right.
just like, "Bye, see you later." So, like, I think it all just comes down to communication, and then the like want to be together. Like, we just truly want to be. He's actually my best friend.
Totally. And you should always be with your best friend. But for the people that just have a child, that one over there, not pointing, anyone, the one with the braids. Um, the biggest thing after postpartum was realizing that it's not you and your partner, it is the newcomer in the family, and that is the child. And as long as you guys can realize that, that's actually really good, especially since you're not going through the postpartum of all of it. but it's hard to recognize that. When
So
Braden
if
and
I
I were like snapping at each other, I was like, it's not us, it's her. Okay. We're
Yeah.
fine.
And also, you know how people say like, people say things like you can sleep when you're dead, like push through, you can sleep when you're dead, or like, like at the end of the day, it's like you and your husband, but they're meaning like in the future. But like that's when people get divorced because they don't put efforts in now. And that
Exactly.
Drew and I put efforts in
You
every
have
day
to.
effort to spend some quality time together, and also like with having a baby, like that could change that, so
Mhm.
we're really aware of those things. I mean, I feel very fulfilled, but I think that that's the biggest thing is that like we make efforts every single day to like be together. He's not in here. I don't check the garage.
I love
um
that. You need that. Everyone needs that. I mean, at the end of the night, it doesn't matter because my spouse is my best friend.
right.
I talk to my family more, but I
I
mean,
know, but
he knows
that's hard
everything.
with his
Yeah.
schedule. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we have two more questions, and I'm gonna ask you this one first so you have time to think about it, because this is like a tricky question because it is the best and least. What is your favorite part about being a mom slash bonus mom? And what is your favorite part about being a mom slash bonus mom? And while you're chewing on that, let's talk about how was it one day being a loving aunt to being a full-time mom, literally overnight?
Well, I would say I was in survival mode. So, nothing mattered except like getting through the day. It was like each day. Like, Julia was a big part, my sister was a big part of that time as
I'm
well. And
sorry, am I not related?
no,
Our
I didn't know if anybody knew, right,
The
Julia?
rest of us.
Yeah, the viewers. So Julia
Rude.
and I literally were like, how do we get through today? Like
Each
today. Oh,
day. Yeah.
yeah. And I just like I look back and I'm like, dang, I'm so proud of myself because she was 4 and I was 24. And I didn't even like realize what I was doing in that moment. I was just doing what she needed every single day, and I would say that
Survival is the best answer. Yeah.
yeah.
Honestly, it's kind of like if as if you were to give birth on your own, you know what I mean? Like I feel like I was in survival mode for 2 years, but
Hmm.
I can't imagine the kind of survival your brain is going through having a 4-year-old and like your frontal lobe isn't even developed at 24. Like that is
No, and I did it full time by myself and I still worked full time,
yeah,
and
Hmm.
that would be hard.
I mean, it
It,
was,
And you were living in California at the time also?
she still is. Yeah.
yeah.
So I'm just imagining the prices of
Oh,
things in
yeah. So
I
expensive.
owned my townhome at the time, but it wasn't cheap,
yeah.
No.
so it was definitely a lot. Yeah. But I did it and I love her and I would do it again.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I 100%, everyone knows I would 100% take anybody that needed to before going through the system. Absolutely. So, what is your least, we'll start with the negative first. What's your least favorite part of being a mom and a bonus mom?
I mean, I don't have a least favorite part of being a mom. I mean, I guess maybe just like not having enough time in the day sometimes.
That
But
could
like,
be, that is
I
the least, yeah, no, we get that.
would say, yeah, but I would say that between Drew and I now, like we really prioritize the things that need to be done. And I'm really big about self-care. So like I shower daily, I get ready every single day. Those are just like non-negotiables for me. And it's always been like that. I mean, I've never had an infant or a toddler. So I can't speak to like that part, but like I just that's me. And then I would say that the best part is just like kids to love, right? I love my kids. I love Tessa more than anything in the whole entire world. And I loved her that way as her aunt before I had her. I was really hands-on with her. She actually lived with me with my sister, her biological mom. before I became her foster parent
Sure.
at the time and then into legal guardianship. But so like her room didn't change. She stayed with me. And then
Which is
just
the best thing you possibly could have done for her.
Yeah,
Like,
that seems
honestly.
like a lot better transition for her
yeah.
than what I was
Totally.
imagining in my mind, like switching homes, switching
No.
everything.
Yeah. And then I would say like, the kids, I love them. I love all four of my little bonus kids. And I know that they love me. And I just know that like as a family, we'll continue to grow together. Um, and it's just fun. Parenting to me is so fun.
It is now when they're older. Yeah.
I miss little Tessa. She was
I
obsessed with
know.
me.
She was so cute.
But
Well, Amanda, thank you. That was amazing. And we can't wait to hear about your other story. And we will put you on soon.
thanks,
But
guys.
thank you for coming. Thank
Of
you.
course.